Tonight on WTOP 10 Nightly News, find out which Broadway legend had a theater named after them.
And the Big Apple is increasing security for the New York City Marathon. Find out why.
Plus, Mayor Billy Barlow is getting ready for Oswego's annual tree lighting.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Thomas Caffarella.
And I'm Jacqueline Driggs.
More semiconductor manufacturers are coming to New York. Governor Kathy Hochul and Majority Leader Chuck Schumer say the semiconductor company Edwards Vacuum will build a $319 million facility in Genesee County. The British-based industry leader is expected to create 600 new jobs with their new facility. The company says they will provide internal training and education, allowing employees to grow their careers.
This announcement comes nearly a week after President Biden visited Syracuse to celebrate the historic $100 billion investment from Micron Technology in central New York. Micron, a leader in semiconductor industry, says they will build a microchip plant in Clay, bringing thousands of jobs to the region.
The CDC announced that Oswego County COVID-19 levels have been reduced to a medium level. The Oswego County Health Department has reported a continued decrease in COVID-19 cases in recent weeks. Of the 1,937 tests reported, 186 tests came back positive and 86 tests came back positive from at-home testing.
Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow posted on Twitter earlier today about the annual holiday tree lighting. He wrote that the event will be held November 26 from 3 to 6 p.m. He also said the tree lighting program will be capped off with the fireworks over the river immediately following the lighting.
An Oswego apartment complex is being rewarded for its affordability and design. The New York State Association for Affordable Housing awarded Harbor View Apartments for its Project of the Year in the upstate region. It brings 75 new apartments to the area that are available at a range of prices, making the apartment complex affordable to many potential residents.
The city of Rochester is hoping a bright pink envelope in the mail will help take a bite out of crime. People suspected of illegal activity will be sent a letter in those pink envelopes. As Chase Howell explains, City Hall is targeting people who create demand for the illegal drug trade.
Bright pink envelopes will soon be mailed to people spotted buying drugs on North Clinton Avenue.
This is not a criminal arrest, so we don't have to witness an exchange of drugs and money. We need to see some interactions between a drug dealer and someone driving in the area.
Inside the envelope, a letter with details of their encounter with the drug dealer and a list of criminal and safety risks.
This is not an inner city, low-income problem. This is a problem, frankly, of people who have money to a great extent and are not city residents to a great extent.
While filming this story, we saw RPD and its narcotics team going into a business on North Clinton. That's just a few blocks from where Cliff lives.
And I walked to the been to the AutoZone and Needles right there at the door, and just people walking down my street right here.
Cliff says he's been sober now for a year after using crack cocaine for nearly 20 years.
We can't do it on our own. You have to always ask somebody for help, and that's what I did.
Maybe this will scare some people enough that they'll seek the help instead of continuing to come to Clinton Avenue or wherever else they're coming to buy drugs.
Chase Howell, 13 WHAM News.
The city's attorney says they will use license plates to identify people buying drugs. They hope to begin sending out those pink envelopes next week.
New York businesses must stick to strict standards when it comes to the integrity of their marijuana products. However, that won't last much longer as New York State loosens its regulations on testing cannabis products. The new testing regulations will be in line with other states such as California, Oregon, and Washington.
More than 50,000 runners and 1 million spectators are expected in New York City this weekend for the annual New York City Marathon. The race will take runners through all 5 boroughs for a total of 26.2 miles. Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell says security throughout the entire race will be a top priority to protect the runners and the crowd from any potential threats.
I will tell you at this time that there are no specific credible threats directed toward New York City. to the marathon or to any of the events surrounding the race. As usual, however, the NYPD's uniform presence will be evident wherever one looks this weekend.
A historic moment on Broadway yesterday with the renaming of an iconic theater. The late actress Lena Horne, known for her work on The Wiz and her one-woman show, now has a theater named after her. The Brooks Atkinson Theater was renamed in honor of her, and she's the first black woman to ever have her name on a Broadway theater. Now let's take a look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Samantha Carlson. How's it looking, Samantha?
It's actually looking pretty good, although there will be fog forming around late tonight for early tomorrow morning commute, so just be aware of that. But it will get warmer for your weekend, so that's good. But some rain moving in late Saturday night into Sunday, but it'll still be warm, so there's an upside to that, and it looks like you'll have a quiet week for the start of next week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Samantha. Coming up later tonight, the 2018 Parkland shooter has been sentenced to life in prison.
And a major announcement from the Federal Reserve already impacting Americans.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back. I'm WTOP 10 meteorologist Samantha Carlson, and taking a zoomed out look at the East Coast here, the reason we have been seeing those warmer temperatures and the clear skies that we're going to be seeing is because of the high pressure system that's just to the south of us in Pennsylvania. And the warm temperatures are because we're underneath the jet stream. So it's bringing in that warmer air from the south. But as we head on into tonight and right back here in Oswego, it's by 10 p.m. it'll be clear and around 47 degrees. So because there's no winds, again, like I said earlier, the fog could form in the lower lying areas by around 2 a.m. and it's going to be dropping off into the mid 40s by 8 a.m. So definitely might need maybe a little sweater as you're heading out the door tomorrow morning. But looking at your tomorrow, it's going to be in the upper 60s around-ish. So if the graphic would, there it goes. There it is. Okay. So it's going to be around 66. Like I said, that fog is going to be there in the morning, but it'll disappear around 9-ish in early morning hours, giving way to mostly sunny skies and light winds. And as, come on, graphic bit, okay. So as the week goes on, let's warm up for your Saturday. So if you wanted to enjoy it, take a walk along the lake, you can go to the park. And that, like I said before, that rain is going to come in Sunday. Won't stay around too long though, because the sun will be back out for your Monday. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Samantha. The Federal Reserve is announcing its toughest policy move since the 1980s, another interest rate hike. It's the fourth consecutive in an effort to cool down inflation. Mike Valero has the latest.
Amid a rebound in the economy, a hot labor market, and mortgage rates topping 7% for the first time since 2002, the Federal Reserve announcing a historic interest rate hike today, pushing up the cost of borrowing even further.
My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship as it erodes purchasing power, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation.
The decision of a fourth consecutive hike of 0.75 of a percentage point is intended to keep the economy from overheating or cooling too dramatically and to tame inflation.
They'll raise the rate another 0.25 point, and then I think they'll stop and pause, take a look around, because they know that it takes a while for all these interest rate hikes to affect the economy and to slow inflation.
The interest rate hike will likely deepen the economic pain for millions of Americans, at the same time as the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate is topping 7%.
Housing's going to struggle here over the next 12, 18 months, and I do expect some meaningful price declines.
A silver lining in the midst of all of this, the job market that remains tight. But for the consumer, the advice is to hold on.
If you are not able to bring your wages up, then you need to consume because basically your purchasing power is going down the line.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
The Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz will spend his life in prison. That's according to today's sentencing by Judge Elizabeth Scherer. Cruz took the lives of 14 students and 3 staff members during the Parkland school shooting of 2018. He pled guilty to 17 counts of murder and 17 counts of attempted murder. The families of the victims faced Cruz at trial, where they expressed anger that he did not receive the death penalty. Parkland remains the deadliest mass shooting at a United States high school.
Tensions on the Korean peninsula are escalating as both North and South Korea trade a volley of missiles. South Korean officials say they fired 3 air-to-surface missiles in response to a series of North Korean missile launches just hours earlier. The military says it carried out precision strikes targeting international waters. The launches follow warnings from North Korea and North Korea for the U.S. and South Korea to stop their joint military operations, which began earlier this week.
Russia says it is now rejoining the UN grain export deal with Ukraine. That means Moscow will guarantee safe passage for cargo ships traveling from Ukrainian ports through the Black Sea, and hundreds of thousands of tons of food exports will be able to go where they are needed most. It comes days after Russia said it would no longer participate, and after Russia's president spoke with his Turkish counterpart.
To give them credit, actually, both sides took a very constructive approach after seeing that suspending this agreement will be in everybody's loss, or it will cost them dearly. And as a result, they've come back to the agreement. And after the call with President Putin and President Erdogan, now we have everything back on track.
And coming up on WTOP 10 Nightly News, how inflation may be impacting your Thanksgiving dinner.
And look at our brains and why they may cause us to naturally resist life's changes.
Put the keys down, Kevin. But I'm gonna drive home. There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving. I guess I have really been looking for love in this dating app. Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
I think you could build a house here with how many bricks are being laid in this game.
That is a rapid nosedive, and it is at the point of no return, guys.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Now it's time for your Health and Consumer Report.
CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart are tentatively agreeing to pay at least $12 billion to settle opioid lawsuits. According to Bloomberg, the lawsuits were brought by state and local governments. The lawsuits allege that retailers mishandled prescriptions of opioid painkillers. More than 3,000 lawsuits have been filed against pharmacies, opioid manufacturers, and distributors, accusing them of downplaying the addiction risks of opioids and also failing to stop the pills from being used illegally.
Okay. Oops. It's called metathesiophobia, the term for having a fear of change, and our brains may be to blame. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more from a neurosurgeon on the science of why our brains are hardwired against change.
Find it hard to quit a bad habit? Struggle to start a new routine? It may be your brain trying to protect you.
Back here is the emotional center of your brain, and that is typically where new change is first processed.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says the brain often perceives change as a threat. It's not comfortable, and that can lead to loss of control and uncertainty.
We like to think of ourselves as these nimble, flexible creatures, but in fact, we really don't like change.
Gupta says kids are often better with change than adults because they experience it more often. But there are things we can do to help us cope better with something different. There's even a formula for change, which says 4 things are needed before change can happen: dissatisfaction with how things are going, a vision of what is possible and tangible, first concrete steps taken toward that vision, and creative leadership to help a person toward it. Gupta says to try and incorporate change into your life on a regular basis.
Get out of your set patterns, whatever it may be. Take up a hobby, do something that's different.
That's how Gupta says we can help our brains to accept change. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Gupta says trying something different can be as easy as using your non-dominant hand for the day. Just trying something to break yourself out of normal routines.
Like almost everything else recently, Thanksgiving is getting a little bit more expensive. The market research firm IRI predicts this year's feast could cost about 13.5% more than last year. The company compared retail prices for some Thanksgiving foods, like turkey, baking essentials, and side dishes. The company says shoppers may already be aware they might have to spend more for the holiday food given the recent inflation and driven price hikes.
Coffee lovers, it's time to get into the holiday spirit. Starbucks unveiled its new holiday cups, an annual tradition now in its 25th year. Beginning Thursday, employees will serve hot beverages in one of 4 festive cup designs. That's also the day Starbucks starts serving its holiday drink menu. The company says no new drinks are being added this year, but you can still enjoy the usual peppermint mocha or chestnut praline latte.
Big news from many of our students' favorite coffee chains. But what about your students' favorite sports teams?
WTOP 10's Ryan Skinner is here with all of the latest in Laker and pro sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up, we go over the Lakers' recent struggles, head over to Madison Square Garden, cover the Philadelphia Phillies' incredible World Series hits, and more after the break.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to a WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Ryan Skinner, and this is what's new in sports. Over in Geneseo, the Knights played the Lakers for the first round of the SUNYAC Volleyball Championships. The Geneseo Knights defeated the Oswego Lakers and halted the Lakers' hope for a SUNYAC title. The Geneseo Knights swept the Lakers with a score of 3-0. Although the Lakers started off strong with a 3-1 lead in the first set, the Knights fought back and won the first set 25-17. Geneseo continued control in the second set, building a 10-3 lead before the Lakers took their first time out. They lost the third set 25-20 and ultimately lost the game as their hopes for a championship title were dashed. Heading over to Cortland, where the Oswego Lakers women's soccer team lost to the Cortland Red Dragons with a final score of 2-0. It was a tie game until overtime, and the Red Dragons scored back-to-back goals to win the game. Simone Neville scored the first goal 15 minutes into overtime to establish the Red Dragons' lead over the Lakers. This goal was soon followed up with a breakaway goal by Liz Allen to extend the lead to 2-0. The Lakers would go on to lose the game and go to 3-3 in the SUNYAC on the season. The men's basketball season is coming up with the team's first tournament matchup on November 11th. Ahead of their first tip-off, WTOP Joey Palatsky spoke with the assistant coach Ryan Rowland to learn more about the key member of the coaching staff.
Ryan Rowland may be just 24 years old, but his basketball knowledge and perspective for life are far beyond his years. A product of West Hill High School in Syracuse, Rowland decided on Mercyhurst University out of high school. After 2 years and averaging just 10 minutes per game as a sophomore in 2017, Rowland decided it was time to head back to Central New York and finish his collegiate career at Lemoyne.
I went to 2 colleges. It was the first school, it was more about the lifestyle outside of basketball. It just wasn't for me. Decided to finish up my last 2 years at home, more comfortable there.
Primarily a three-point shooter as a junior, Rowland led the team with 46 three-pointers made and shot 44% from behind the arc. Even with that success, Rowland leveled up as a senior, becoming the team's starting point guard and star player, averaging 16 points per game and 4.5 assists per game, which both led the team. With this success, Rowland also found his way onto the NE10 second team. Coach Ryan Rowland went to Columbia, learned some things on the basketball floor. There were plenty of lessons he picked up from a third world country that he brought back to SUNY Oswego and will look to bring to the team and community this year.
I would say the biggest difference was people are kind of just more grateful for, just being alive, not for things that they have.
Head coach Jason Leone thinks Rowland's basketball knowledge from all of the stops on his young career can help this Oswego program that's ranked 5th nationally in the Division III preseason poll.
Ryan brings a great amount of detail to what we're trying to do
with our player development. And then he's advanced beyond his years.
In terms of the upcoming season, Roland knows it's all about the players.
I'm just looking forward to, helping them develop as players and taking that next step. Because, obviously, you have a lot of success, it's easy to get stagnant.
Where Ryan Roland fits in the best with the Oswego men's basketball team program is put in two simple ways: love of the game and winning. For WTOP 10, I'm Joey Pulatsky.
Thank you, Joey P, for putting that together. Heading over to Madison Square Garden, where the Rangers beat the Flyers in overtime. The Flyers put less than 20 shots up in the game, while the Rangers were able to put up 36 shots, with 4 of them hitting the post. It was not a very exciting game, with the score being 0-0 at the end of the third period, but things heated up in overtime when Mark Zibanejad found Chris Kreider on a breakaway to win the game for the Rangers and bring them to 6-3-2 on the season. Don't go anywhere. Ranger Suarez versus Lance McCullers. The series is tied 1-1, where the Phillies hit a bomb, and I believe that is Bryce Harper right there. Kyle Schwarber was on first base, and that's his 6th home run of the postseason. He's hitting .382 in the postseason across 55 at-bats and absolutely killing it in this postseason. Here in the bottom of the second, Alec Boehm hit a solo shot, made the game 3-0. Right after that, Brandon Marsh makes his own solo shot and brings the game to 4-0. Barely cleared the wall right there, right over his glove. You'll see the umpire come in, say it's a home run. Up next, Kyle Schwarber hits an absolute bomb with Brandon Marsh. He got walked a few seconds before that, and he was standing there on first base. Game to 6-0. Rhys Hoskins hits another bomb, just bomb city out here, 7-0. Hits 6th home run of the postseason. Phillies win 7-0 with their 5 home runs on the night. Bellotti comes in and closes the game out here in the 9th inning. He is pitching against Chas McCormick and strikes him out right there. And the Phillies own the series 2-1.
All right, well, don't go anywhere. We'll have more after the break.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
I think you could build a house here with how many bricks are being laid in this game.
That is a rapid nosedive, and it is at the point of no return, guys.
Up to Dobson at the point. The cross-ice pass comes to Parise, who's going to extend the lead to 3, but the Columbus Blue Jackets, they're not going down without a fight. Puck loose, out in front of net.
Welcome back to the best show on WTOP. I'm your host, Miss Meg Trivia. And I'm Donna B.
We start things off in the pool as 4 members of the Oswego women's swimming and diving team have earned all SUNYAC honors. Oh, finally got that old music back. Welcome live inside the Outrigger studio for the newest episode of Sports.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Here on campus, a SUNY Oswego senior and member of WTOP is looking to interview 100 students.
The interviewers are for a YouTube series. Could you be a part of it? Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, how's it going? It's your boy Nusi. Don't skip this video! I'm a student intern here at SUNY Oswego. I'm doing a series called the 100 series, and I'd love for all of you guys to be a part of it. If you want to sign up, there's a link in the SUNY Oswego's Instagram page, and then there's also a link on my own page as well. Essentially, what you'll be doing is whatever film date that you pick, you'll come to the Outrigger studio, and then we'll get you set up, make you look all nice and pretty, and then you'll answer the 4 questions. Please, if you're interested,
please share